Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tim, and we are going to talk about Ash vs. Evil Dead, Season 2, Episode 8. It's called Ashy, Slashy. Full
Mhm.
spoilers for the episode as always. So yeah, this follows up right after the last one, because we even see the other side of the scene of like Pablo, Kelly, and
Mm.
Ruby arriving at the asylum. What's really fun about this episode is last episode was mostly just Ash. There was like cameos from the other ones, but it was mostly him on his own dealing with the
Mhm.
whole, mind war, mental asylum stuff. So it was actually really nice that most of this one was Ashless. Like it was mostly the
Yeah.
other guys. It was Pablo, it was Kelly, it was Ruby, and even Linda. In the asylum, and we see it how it actually looks. It's all run down, and not that it looked great last week,
Yeah.
admittedly, but
And then it was cool that for the most part like when you see Ash, he's kind of more like a almost like a slasher movie like kind of villain or something that's like hunting him down,
yeah,
which was cool.
until late on, he does not speak. He just
Yeah.
stalks with his chainsaw silently, like
Mhm.
he's Michael Myers or something, um, which is cool because even when you first get a glimpse of him, he just sort of steps out behind someone again, like a Michael Myers esque moment, and then the next time you see him, he's like scraping his chainsaw along the wall, kind of like Freddy Krueger, look with
Yeah.
his glove, like it was almost like they were taking all these other slasher movie little ideas and putting it into this
Mhm.
side. While he's targeting Pablo, uh,
Yeah.
as we're seeing everyone run around the hospital. So we'll get to how everything sort of ends up in twists and turns and shocking
Mhm.
finales later. Uh, I do want to take a few minutes to talk about some of the other stuff that happens though along the way,
Right.
such as Linda's daughter being a deadite and then ripping off the sheriff's head with her bare hands.
Yes. That was pretty sweet.
It was pretty sweet. I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
Even the fight between her and then like everyone afterwards when she's fighting Pablo, she's fighting Kelly, and Kelly
Mhm.
eventually tangles on the hose and like shoots her.
Yeah.
That was a fun fight. Although of course it was not as fun as another fight Kelly gets to
Oh,
have
right.
a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, what I liked about the uh what was the daughter's name? Is it Lacey?
yeah, Lacey.
Yeah. So I kind of liked that like she was a deadite, but she still seemed very much like a like teenager and stuff. Like she was like very giddy, like when she
Hmm.
would kill people, and she even like made like a joke about like a unicorn when she shoved like the walkie-talkie in like
Oh,
the
that
guy's
that made me
forehead.
laugh so
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, it's like this random security guard. It's funny
Yeah.
actually because we never actually are aware that they're security guards until they just walk in to get killed.
Yeah.
He actually just walks on camera and gets
Mhm.
killed with a walkie-talkie in the forehead, and he's like, "Look, look, Dad, I made a unicorn."
And I just like that like she kind of like has like her own personality. She's like if there was a teenage version of a deadite, like that'd probably be it.
Yeah, nah, she was a lot of fun, but
Mhm.
like I say, things got even more fun because Kelly finds the puppet from last week, the Ash puppet.
Yeah.
And this is after she runs into like the junkie nut job that was really like what was Kelly last week, but wasn't really Kelly. Uh,
Yeah.
but she finds the puppet in Ash's room, and the door locks. And I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, this is about to get very Evil Dead. This is about to get, it's Ash versus his hand, or even Ash versus the little Ashes, and like the third,
Yeah.
it's going to be that. This is what we're about to get with Kelly. And again, it goes back to the whole idea that Kelly's kind of becoming this like younger female version of Ash, but she has this fight with the puppet, and you can tell she had a lot of fun filming this because obviously it's on her hand. So
Yeah.
she's doing all this. She's fighting with herself as an actress. She's doing all of this fight stuff on her own,
Mhm.
and I can't imagine how many like takes they probably messed up because she burst into laughter like in the middle of
Oh,
stuff.
oh, definitely, yeah. And like you said, it's like very reminiscent of specifically like Evil Dead 2, Ash fighting his own hand. And was there like I don't know about you, but I was like really, really thinking like, oh my God, like she's gonna because it's like attached to her hand. So
Ah,
I
you
thought like,
you thought she was going to lose a hand?
yeah.
Nah, I never thought that. I think for me it got really like I got where it was going right away when he said something pervy to her,
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, your hands up my butthole, or something like that, up my
Let me
crotch.
return the favor.
Let me return the favor." And it immediately goes for her crotch. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
reminds me, I'm loving this running thing where she calls Pablo her strong vagina.
Oh yeah.
Because he's all nervous and like, oh, what if this doesn't work? He's like, hey, where did my strong vagina go? These are just not words that I ever expected a woman to say ever.
Yeah.
So no, that's a really fun running gag. But nah, so she starts fighting with little Ash, and he's being pervy and saying things. He's looking at her ass. She's like throwing him into the bed, into the wall. All of it's a lot of fun, and then it gets gross. Also very Evil Dead, but
Yeah.
he dips her head into the deadpan full of piss,
Yes.
and she's like get piss all over her face.
Yeah. At first, it kind of looked like it was just it really escalated because at first, she's kind of getting close to it, and then it was like kind of like slightly dipping her head into it. It's like, oh, it's not bad, but then it's like full on, her
Yeah.
head's in there bubbling.
Yeah, she was all up in that piss. If I'm going to criticize anything, it would probably be that after, because it's a few moments later where she wins the fight, she blows his head off, which also good moment. She gives a one-liner and she blows his head off, and it makes his head explode, which it should because it's a puppet. Although it did have blood in it, which was interesting, but I guess it just looks better if there's blood in it. Like it would look crap if there was no blood, but.
Yeah.
I would almost criticize that she didn't immediately start like wiping her face like viciously after winning the fight. Like,
Well, I mean, it's even like earlier in the season with Ash when he, had his head,
true.
go up the guy's anus or
But
whatever.
at least there, it was acknowledged that he smelt really bad. When Linda
Yeah.
showed up later in this scene, I was expecting her to say, "Kelly, Jesus, what's that smell? You smell like you've had your head dunked in piss." Well, that's because I've had my head dunked in piss. But no,
to
that
be
was really
fair
fun.
though, even if she could wash it off, like that the whole place is so gross. I don't know. I don't know like how much better the like sinks and stuff there would be.
That is a very fair observation. But yeah, so this was like a lot of the episode, and obviously the other stuff alongside this was Pablo and Ruby running away from Ash, who's like doing his whole stalker thing and like coming up with a chainsaw, and he sets stuff on fire. Although the whole setting part of the hallway on fire felt a bit pointless actually. Like it made for a really cool visual with him standing there with all the flames, but then he just kept chasing them and was like, "Why did you set all that on fire?"
Yeah, it looked really cool, and I was trying to think the same thing, like what the point of it was. The only thing I could think would be maybe if somehow if they tried to run past him or run around him or something, they couldn't go that direction.
guess,
But
yeah.
that's I don't know.
Yeah, to be fair, they do. She does say at one point that he's like closing them into this dead end, so maybe the fire's just a way of stopping them from going back that way. Yeah, I guess that kind of works. That's not a big deal. Like I say, it looked really cool, so whatever. But no, all that stuff was really fun, and again we get all these cool horror scenes, and I feel like there was a lot more. I mean, there was funny stuff this week, but it was like last week was a different kind of horror, whereas this week we got a lot of like traditional, like creepy, like creeping through hallways, and things might jump out, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like I mean, we've kind of been saying it like for most of the season, but it just again kind of bears repeating that I really like how it's like each episode seems to be it's kind of like different like subgenre or something, or like different type of horror movie, which is just really cool.
Yeah,
Makes it really fun.
At the very least, it seems to be cycling through like 3 or 4 different kinds of like styles that is keeping it fresh and it's keeping it feel a little bit different. And but of course, the big thing is that eventually everyone gets in the same room, and Bal even shows up, and Ash is still acting all evil. He's got Pablo chained up, but then Ash reveals very, very suddenly, "Oh no, I'm not actually mind controlled. I'm Ash. What are you talking about?" And reveals that this was his plan all along.
I really love this. I feel like
I like this
anyone else, it would feel like kind of cheap, but like I don't know, it's like maybe it's giving him too much leeway or something. But with Ash, I feel like you can just kind of get away with him being like, "Oh no, guess what?"
Yeah, no, see, I buy it from Ash. It was funny, right, first and foremost, but But it tied on nicely to a joke that was in the episode earlier on. At the start of the episode, Ruby says, "Just don't tell Ash that we found them using that pet tracker that Ash said he was going to use to track Bal, because we'll never hear the end of it." But we find out that actually this all was part of his plan. He got them all in the same room, and it flashes back to the 2 episodes ago when they said this plan, and they were like, "Wait, but this worked? It was that simple? Like what?" And what was funny is like, so they're fighting Bal, and they get Bal, and they're holding him down, and Pablo goes all possessed like with the book, and starts doing his mumbo jumbo to exorcise Bal or kill him or whatever. And I'm like, this feels like they're about to kill him. Like halfway through the episode, I would never have thought that, but this feels like they're about to beat him. There's 2 episodes left. What the hell? Like, I mean, I was just thinking to myself, like, this feels like a season finale, and there's 2 left. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's very you kind of think of that like Buffy formula where like each season you have a big bad, and that's going to be the end season, the boss fight or whatever. And yeah, surprisingly, it was kind of like, oh. Yeah, they got rid of him.
Yeah, so they beat him, but just as Bal's about to die, he does a sort of swipe, and after they beat him, like everyone sort of congratulates Pablo. Like Ash congratulates him, Kelly congratulates him, and Kelly, of course, earlier on in the episode reassured him after that strong vagina joke. And like even put her hand like on his head and was like, "It's going to be okay, Pablo." In the middle of the episode, he was like concerned about what was going to happen to him, and like Ruby was like, very terribly trying to reassure him. So it was kind of building up all episode, this idea that Pablo might be in danger. And it's funny, as they were congratulating them, I actually knew it was about to happen because of the sound effect. Because in movies and TV shows, well, maybe not TV shows, I can't imagine many TV shows where this happened before, but in movies, there's a certain sound effect that I'm just used to hearing when someone, like, not necessarily splits in half, but if, like, their insides all fall out, or, that sort of squelching noise before it happens, like, you could hear it, and I think if you're a horror fan and you've heard that before, you immediately get what's just happened, and you know that he's about to be dead. But sure enough, his entire top half of his body just slides off. Yeah. And he's lying there with his intestines all hanging out.
Like, what I kind of thought is, as he's exercising them and, like, Bal's, like, slashing him and stuff, I thought, they were going to kill him, and then there'd be, the happy little victory moment, and then, like, he was going to look down and see, like, a huge gash on his stomach and then maybe it might be a cliffhanger to be like, oh, is he going to survive or something? Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, when he swiped for him, that's what I was kind of thinking as well. I was not expecting full on, he's cut in half, done, dead, deadio, Las Muertos, not coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, he might come back because it's Evil Dead, but, like, just in terms of, like, the scene itself, he's definitely dead.
I think, like, I almost, like, audibly just was kind of like, oh wow, he's really dead.
Yeah, it was a shocking ending.
Yeah, now, there's not coming back from that.
Unfortunately, I accidentally read the synopsis for the next one on IMDb, which, by the way, I am so glad that I did not read that before I watched this episode, because I would have. It spoils the ending. Like, it actually says what happened.
That's just really funny, because I usually watch like the little previews for next episode, but we got the little tiff last episode, so I was like, I'm not gonna watch it.
No, I'm proud of you, Timmy, and I would applaud if you did do that again next time, so that going into the finale we can speculate. Now, I don't know if they succeed in what they tried to do, but I know what Ash and Co tried to do next episode.
Okay.
But do you want me to tell you?
No, it's alright. We'll save it as a surprise.
Yeah.
And, just in case people might not want semi spoilers. If I had to guess, though, like you said, it's Evil Dead. We're dealing with dark magic here, especially stuff that involves raising people from the dead. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not the end of him, but I don't know. We'll see. That I've actually been surprised quite a bit in this show, though, so who knows.
As you would expect, they don't accept it very well, and and it's funny because forgetting anything else, like, I would argue that I would expect there would be a way to bring him back, because he was like the book, like he became the book, so there is already like magical dark forces at play with him. So
I would almost love it if he like comes back as the book, like the actual
But he
book that just
talks.
like
Yeah,
had his
yeah,
voice. Yeah.
yeah. Poor Pablo.
A few quick things I would also just mention about the episode is it was kind of funny because I didn't really have much of a premonition about Pablo dying early on. But when the sheriff dies, I did kind of go, it's funny. Almost every like new cast member we've been introduced to this season has died, and I was kind of like, oh, I feel like, the show might only ever be just like Ash, Kelly, and Pablo, and then at the end, Pablo dies as well.
You fool.
Yeah. And then I did actually I really like the special effect of like the words on Pablo's body going into Bal's eyes when he has his like thumbs in his eye holes, and like all the script from the book is kind of flowing into him. I thought that just looked pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. No, I had a lot of fun with this episode. I think it again changed up what it was doing from the last episode. I liked all the Ash as a like slasher villain stuff, and I
Yeah.
liked Kelly having the fun with the puppet and all that. It was just a good. It was fun for multiple reasons on both like plots that were going simultaneously, and then it gave us
Yeah.
that big ending, which was actually kind of surprising and shocking, and left us with a big huge like moment that we can savor until next week. So I thought it was a really strong episode.
Cool. Me too.
So yeah, let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot if you do. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you next time.